Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this Facebook Live. I feel like I need to have heels on here today. It's just the two of us, but thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, March 29th. Of course, you can find us on your newsfeed every weekday morning. We're live from 8 to 9. You can watch it anytime throughout the day. We're also on the Inform YouTube channel. We make this into a podcast, so you can go to inform.com/podcast, look for the Inform Minute all over the place, and of course, Storm Tracker weather app as well is where we can find your forecast all the time. But we always like to get an update, and Dillon is here with me this morning to talk a little bit about what we don't want to talk about anymore: cold weather, cold temperatures.
Yeah, maybe we just skip this
Can we
part
skip
of
it
the
for
Facebook
today?
Live. I know it's rough. It's cold again this morning. Some spots are close to record breaking. This morning, I think Fargo got down to 12 below, which is not the record. The record's 15 below.
Okay.
But it's still way too cold.
Oh, so it's not that cold. It's not that cold. It's not record breaking.
It's not record breaking, but I think we're all sick of it.
Absolutely.
I'm sick of being outside in the cold. I'm sick of walking inside. I'm sure you are too. At 3 in the morning, and you can't feel your face even on the five seconds you walk in your car to the building. It's just getting old, and winter just does not stop. And in fact, this morning is now our 11th morning we have had below zero temperatures in the month of March, which is the most days we have had below zero in March since March of 1969.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And March of 1969, if you remember yesterday, is also the month that we are tied with for the lowest March high temperature of 37 degrees, and our current March high temperature, so the high temperature for the entire month of March, is 37 degrees that we are currently tied for. It's just been cold, and it's been the persistence of the cold that's really been so bad. I mean, we haven't hit 40 degrees since November, and it's just, every day is the same. It's just too cold, and we're getting sick of it, and there's no really much. There's a little bit of hope in sight, actually, for this weekend. I'll talk about that in a second.
And yesterday at this time, we were talking about snow, too.
Yeah,
We're not even thinking about that. We just wanted to block it out now this morning, but we got even more fresh snow. That just added to it being cold, right?
Yeah, the fresh snow, the light wind, and the clear sky. That's all great ingredients for a cold morning like this morning. Especially that fresh snow is something that we don't always get, especially this late in the year. But that fresh, fluffy snow, it just allows temperatures just to drop. It's so airy, it allows the air just to get really chilly. So that's why we have so many close to record-breaking low temperatures this morning.
And that's what you talked about this morning as well.
Yes.
It's just this really long stretch of cold. I mean,
Yep.
record cold, but also just persistent.
Yeah, exactly. It's been so persistent. That's why we have 20 inches of snowpack. Still, I think we're down to 18 now. But still, we have so much snow on the ground because this cold has just been so persistent. We haven't really done any melting, maybe a little bit, but we have to get, mornings that are not 15 below zero or 12 below zero,
That's a good
whatever
start.
it is. Yes. And we have to have afternoons that are, in the 30s and mornings that only cool down to the 20s. That's when we'll really start to melt. The melting will then slow down overnight, but it won't freeze completely. Like that's what happened. That's what's happening right now. We get in the afternoon to do some melting. It happened yesterday. But then when we fall to the single digits or below zero in the overnight hours, everything freezes so hard it can't unthaw quick enough to actually get any more melting in the afternoon.
Which is somewhat good because we do want that slow,
Yes,
freeze-thaw cycle.
At this rate, how slow we're going, we're going to have snow on the ground on the 4th of July. So
At this rate, okay, I get you.
we need to pick it up a little bit more, and I'm sure we will. At least it's looking that way. We might pick it up a little bit more as we look ahead towards the first couple days of April. So anyways, talk about that forecast.
Yes.
Chilly day today, warm up with the southwest breeze at about 10 to 20, which will warm temperatures up into the upper teens, low 20s. Cold night again tonight, but not as cold as this morning. Temperatures in the single digits. A couple spots will probably be close to zero. And then tomorrow, snow developing, but the main part of the system is going to miss us to our south.
Okay.
We could get 1 to 3 inches, though, certainly possible for some spots in our area, especially southern parts. Continuing to kind of grind out the details of this because it's still off the coast of California, so there's a long way to go yet, but something we're watching. We don't want to hear about it, but we are missing, of course, the heaviest of the system. So most of us will just luckily get away with just a couple of scrapes, which is good. Not going to break a leg, we're just get a couple of scrapes, so that's good. And this weekend, warming up Sunday, 38 degrees, which I know what we're thinking.
Close to 40.
It's close to 40. We'll see. See if we do it, but that's our highest temperature we have in the 10-day forecast. So we might be getting there. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, did you get to see Bethany Newquist's video that she showed on First News this morning?
No.
It was crazy weather video that a viewer sent us. New Rockford, they actually want to play little spring baseball, so they were getting the snow blowers and all the equipment. They're snow blowing their baseball field. It's kind of crazy. I bet you guys will show that again at 11 this morning on the
Probably,
newscast.
for sure.
That's one of those crazy weather stories.
I mean, if the weather won't cooperate, you have to make it cooperate for you, right?
It was fun stuff. All right, thank you, Dillon, for that really cold, snowy forecast. All right, talking about snow and that fresh snow we got yesterday, we've been talking a lot about Fargo widening the streets. Well, here are a couple things happening today. Today, probably just about 10 minutes ago, Moorhead snow plow crews are working to widen the streets. They started at 8. They're working on 23rd Avenue South between 8th Street, the frontage road there, and 10th Street until 4 this afternoon. They're asking people to not park in that area until crews are finished. So that's happening right now, heads up. We also talked about the upcoming flood season, if that actually happens, because it's been so cold. Also want to tell you about this happening today. Cass County will be starting their flood outlook meetings, getting people ready for the upcoming flood season with some informational meetings. The Cass County engineer, Jason Benson, told WDAY these sessions are to give people an outlook, kind of help them know what to expect for this upcoming flood season. They start tonight, 7 to 8 at the Kindred High School. Again, tomorrow, 7 to 8. This one will be held at the Harwood Community Center. All right, those things happening today. Right now, we're actually tracking some breaking news. We broke this for you on First News this morning. We're working to get new details on a barn fire. We did confirm a barn is on fire between Walcott and Colfax this morning. We don't have a lot of details. We do know it's on County Road 3. Both the Colfax and Walcott fire departments are there. At this point, there are no reports of anyone being hurt, but we are hearing that it's possible that livestock is in that barn. We have not got that confirmed yet, but of course we are working to get new details for you. So stay with us, inform.com as well for new information on that fire. Another fire that we're tracking developments for you. One person actually is looking for a new place to stay after a fire displaced them. That happened in South Fargo. The flames broke out in the 1500 block of 14.5 Street South just before 8 last night. When crews arrived, smoke was coming from the roof. When they got inside, firefighters found the blaze had started in a second floor bedroom. No one was hurt. We are still working to find out how much damage was done and how that fire started. New this morning, an East Grand Forks man is behind bars and facing multiple charges after police say that he led them on a lengthy high-speed chase through Detroit Lakes. 20-year-old Bobby Newborn was arrested for fleeing, also marijuana charges. It all started when a state trooper asked for help finding a car that was clocked going well over 100 miles per hour. That car was later seen turning onto Highway 10. 2 tire deflation devices were used, but the car continued toward DL. The chase finally ended near West Long Lake Road after the car went into the ditch. Authorities are telling us Newborn actually had 2 outstanding felony warrants. We are still working to find out when he will be in court on these new charges as well. Today, a popular e-cigarette company will be taking the stand in the case involving Minnesota lawmakers. Minnesota's Attorney General is arguing that e-cigarette maker Juul is trying to exploit children by purposefully making its products appealing to them. Juul is saying its goal was never to lure kids, but instead to help adults who wanted to switch from cigarettes to a product with less nicotine. CDC says more than 2.5 million middle and high school students have used e-cigarettes in just the last year. So big case and coming out of Minnesota today. We'll continue tracking that story for you. National headlines, of course, still looking for new information, trying to understand why it happened. New developments in the Tennessee school shooting investigation. Police are now saying that the shooter, Audrey Hale, was being treated for mental health issues. The chief of Nashville Police says that Hale was under the care of doctors for an undisclosed emotional disorder. Law enforcement say they knew nothing about the treatment that Hale was receiving, but Hale's parents have told them that they believed that Hale should not have any weapons. We're also learning new details here. This is disturbing. A friend of Hale's received a message on Instagram from Hale shortly before the shooting saying that Hale wanted to die. The message itself, of course, is really, being torn apart, trying to figure out if that will lead them to what the motive was for that shooting. That message, however, it said, "One day this will make more sense. I've left behind more than enough evidence behind, but something bad is about to happen." And of course, we've kind of had crazy weather across the country. Of course, earlier in the week, we talked a lot about the tornadoes down south. Today, we're hearing the governor of California is asking President Joe Biden to declare a major disaster for storm-affected areas there. Major storms in California have led to catastrophic flooding in the state, and storms are continuing to roll in as areas of the western side of the state are preparing for more rain and snow. The declaration from the president would provide more funding to counties in California that are getting hit hardest. All right, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo will be live from NDSU's Pro Day today. Of course, 9 to 11 on WDAY Extra. There will be NFL scouts, coaches, general managers. They're all going to be on the NDSU campus today. NDSU offensive lineman Cody Mauk, of course, from Hankinson, is likely to be selected in the early rounds of that NFL draft next month. Some analysts think he could actually maybe sneak into the first round. So, of course, a lot of people are watching him very closely. He's not the only one to watch, though, at Pro Day at NDSU today. Fullback Hunter Lipke and tight end Noah Gindorf are also generating a lot of buzz. Once again, Hot Mic with Dom Izzo will be live from NDSU today. That all starts at 9 this morning. I want to remind you, it's a great time to get your subscription to Inform.com, 99 cents a month for your first 3 months, an all-access pass to Inform.com. Remember to join us again at 11 this morning, our next newscast. And of course, in the afternoon, we start again at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. And we'll be back tomorrow morning for First News from 5 to 7. Have a great day, everyone.